Good morning, Ghost Gang, and welcome back to another episode of the Ghost Fishing. So, first off the ranks today, I want to talk about mental illness. To me, it's a big thing and it's very close to my heart, as I've lost my past best friend as a kid growing up, and then also present a friend that I was hanging out with a lot. And then also my partner's brother and my brother-in-law, which was really recent. So it's a very, very close thing to me. If you ever need any help, or if you feel like you need to call somebody, call someone, just let it out, have a chat, check up on your mates. If you got no one to call, message me and I'll give you my phone number. We can have a chat. I don't know what everyone's going through. Everyone's story is different, but I will get out of my shoes just to try and understand yours. So don't hesitate to call, text, let me know what you're doing. If you ever want to go on a fishing trip with me, that's fine. I'll take anybody. So long as we can tee it up at the same time, even on the trip, just talk about things in life that are hard. But yeah, so basically this video is brought on today as I will try and do some fishing videos while we're in lockdown, but this is from a comment section. I've had a few people ask me about the gear that I use when I go rock fishing. So I'm going to do a full rundown on the gear that I use when I do rock fishing. Basically, we'll go from the clothing to the camera gear and the stuff I take regularly for a fish show. Yeah, we'll get right into it. As you can see, a lot of it's behind me here, so I've got it all set up and I'm about to go through everything individually and talk about the stuff that I like to use as a rock fisherman. Everybody's different, so you know, you choose your own things by your own experiences, I guess, and everybody has a different experience, so they'll always point out that they like to use something different to another person. It's all fine. Everything's good so long as you're getting out there and you're having a crack, you're learning, and then you're bettering that experience each time. All right, let's get into it. Okay, for the starter, I'll start with apparel. Okay, first thing that I do use is a good pair of water pants. These are fully sealed. I actually got these off a guy that was in the army. They're the best water pants I've ever had my hands on. They're completely sealed. I never get wet through them. Basically, any pair of good water pants you can get your hands on, because a lot of jew fishing that I do, you're right in the zones of getting wet 100% of the time. 95 at the least, you're basically getting wet all the time. So you want yourself a good set of water pants. Now I've got a pair of shoes that I've had here for a couple of years now, and I've gave them a test through the runner. They're Quicksilver Waterman shoes. They've been really good. They're super lightweight. You never need socks. You never need socks on them. They never smell. And I feel if I ever fall in the ocean, I can swim in these because they're so lightweight. They don't feel like they drag me down at all. I have jumped in with them on, and yes, you can swim in them, which is a bonus. I hear that Under Armour do a pair as well, that they look pretty good, but these are starting to get off the beaten track a bit. I've put them through the ringer. But yeah, so those Quicksilver Waterman shoes were definitely, you find them on sale for about $50, so they're definitely on my list of products. The next thing is a life jacket. Now that's a self-inflating life jacket made by Axis. Any life jacket's a good life jacket because it's going to help you if you ever fall in, hit your head or anything. These gas ones I find if you hit your head and knocked out, you're pretty much useless anyway because you've got to be able to pull it. But if you're still awake, that'll save you in any other situation. If not, you can wear a standard floating one or you can get an automatic one. We got these guys for free because when rock fishing started life jackets in our area, for mandatory, we got to do a course where we were allowed to go along and hang out with Starlo, actually, of all people, and he gave us a insight on rock fishing in his world of rock fishing, and they gave us free life jackets, so that was pretty sick. Next, of course, is a good spray jacket or waterproof jacket. This is more of a winter style one because I do hit the stones all year round, whether it's winter or summer. This guy I find really good. It's a Savage Gear jacket. It's probably a bit over the budget, but very good because this one is also a warming jacket. It's not just a light spray jacket, so in the winter it still keeps me warm and waterproof, and I can get right into those waves without even worrying about getting wet. When I got the pants and these on, I don't get wet at all. Obviously in the winter I have underclothes. I usually wear trackies, shirt and a jumper underneath this. In the summer it's just the pants, shirt and a jacket. That works for me. I've used that same pants, jacket, another pair of water pants and one other jacket. I've got 2 sets for the last 12 years. They've all been sweet. Then we'll get to my rod. My rod here is a Penn Prevail. Now that is a 10 foot, 8 to 15 kilo rod. You could say overkill, I wouldn't say overkill. I throw plastics from 3/8 to 1.5 ounce and all hard bodies on this combo. Basically from jewfish to mackerel, I've thrown everything for these slugs for Taylor. It works really good. That is a BG 5000. It's a pretty heavy sort of setup for casting, but I don't mind it because I like to muscle things around out of snags if they do get in there. This rod and reel does. It's a workhorse. This reel hasn't failed me. It's been wet so many times if you've watched my videos, but that's still a little bit scratchy. But I don't buy a top of the range rock gear because I fall over. I've snapped rods and I've also drowned reels, so it costs a fortune if you go too hard with the gear. But this is standard setup. We'll be looking at about 180. You get the rods on sale, I think, at times, with the reel being about 200, I think. So you're looking at 380 for that combo. And it's been freshly spooled up with Sunline Siglin PE8, 35 pound. Now you'd think 35 pound, I have had 50 before, but 35 pound sweet. It actually has on this braid here that it has a breaking strain of 50 pound, but the thinness of 35 pound is why I like it so good. Super thin, casts really well. Shoot those lures right out if I'm chasing pelagics, but then also jewfish for hopping and lots of sensitivity. That's my favourite braid for rock fishing lures. It's all I've ever used. I haven't used anything else. And that's my heavy setup. I do have a light setup. Now this is my light setup. Again, not super expensive. That's a Nasky 4000 reel, about $110 or something, $120 I think for the reel on sale. That's a jewel that I got on clearance recently. It's a 7.9, 4 to 8 kilos. So I use this for small slugs, light plastics, anything that's small. I take this out and I'll put tiny plastics on for brim. I'll put little slugs and chase tailor. I'll also put bait on and chase drummer and stuff like that if I get a chance. If a Jew aren't keeping me busy, I'm always chasing Jew first. But yeah, so that's 17 pound on that. That's actually Savage Gear line. So it hasn't been too bad. I don't rate it, but I don't underrate it either. It's in that kind of above middle range for braid. It's pretty good. But yeah, so that's my light setup. It works good. Another thing was like 120 and $200. If I snap it, I'm not overly devastated out on the rocks. When, I mean, you slip, if you step on that slime that everyone knows, it gets on that really slate rock that's round, no shoe will ever stop you from slipping on that, and that's when you snap bones and rods. Alright, now we're going to get down to the details of the finer gear. I'll start with my camera gear first, as being a YouTuber or trying to make it in the YouTube world is not as easy as it seems, but it's worth it. You have to take a lot of stuff with you every time you go, even if you're solo. If you got no one shooting, you got to learn angles, cameras, different lenses. I haven't got super expensive stuff. One day, hopefully I will. Yeah, so basically I'll be carrying a backpack, 2 rods, all my long gear, and that is a waterproof case for my camera gear in case it rains or any surges or waves ever hit it, that it's always safe. Yeah, so you feel like a bit of a mule carrying all that stuff, but it's part of the job, and if you want to make it a career, you've got to keep doing it. And you do carry a lot of stuff. Obviously you put it down, some of it, when you're fishing a spot, then pick it up, move on to the next spot, put it down again, move on. If I've got my backpack and I'm moving quickly, I'll only put the camera gear down and 1 rod, and I'll keep the backpack on. Just flick that spot for a while, sometimes moving quickly in low light periods, chasing jewfish through a whole kilometre stretch of rocks. So in the camera gear here, I have a GoPro which I'm using. Now on the GoPro, it actually has a recharge battery on it that lasts 9 hours of battery charge, so I don't have to stop and swap batteries. I purchased that online for $100, and it's been probably the best buy I've ever had for a GoPro, because never changed batteries. I've never gone flat on a session, and it's unbelievable. It's made from a company called Hero. It's not actually GoPro Hero, but Hero. But yeah, I can't fault it. So in here, I have my DSLR Nikon. My partner gave me this because she upgraded in a camera, and this is a D50-100, so it's super old. I'd love a Z9, I think they're up to now, and a lens, but you're looking at $5,000, or $6,000, where this was $1,700 for the whole combo, I think. On here I've got a 18 to 55 kit lens. Now I use this lens a lot when I'm shooting solo because it's an autofocus lens, and it doesn't take the best pictures. The quality's good, but it's not as crisp as a high expensive lens. I have a more expensive lens in my kit here. Now this is a straight 50mm lens that I use, but it's a manual focus lens, and it's very hard on your own to focus into a spot. If anyone has any tips or tricks for me, please let me know. I'm always trying to work out a better way of getting the fish more in focus with that sort of blurred background, even with me a bit blurred, and getting that really crisp on point shot. But yeah, so I use that. That one's my toughest lens to try and find. Got some spare trebles in there, obviously, from BKK for my hard bodies. And then I have a light. That's all for me night stuff, or low light periods if I want to get a shot, and I'll always take that. I got that from Bunnings for $30. It's, I think, 1,000 luminum, but it's a little ripper. It lasts ages, chargeable battery. I use that everywhere, especially at night time. And next but not least, we're going to get into my bag of fishing gear and all the stuff that I use for fishing. I'll just grab that and I'll come back. Okay, this is my big backpack. All my bags that I ever own now, I have those like not Kathmandu, but that style of bag. Not this one. This one's fully waterproof. I bought this from Kmart for 15 bucks. I haven't seen them in there again for a long time, but this has been a really, really good bag. It's 100% waterproof. You just roll up. It's got your back straps and clips, just like that, mate. For 15 bucks, I can't beat it. Obviously, there's a lot better bags with better quality for comfort, but you know, you get what you get sometimes. And I use all bags these days with tackle trays in my other bags with no zippers, because one thing I find with fishing and those big tackle bags that everyone buys, the zippers seize. Every bag I've ever owned, they seize. You try to open them, they snap off, and that's the bag gone. So I opt for any bag I can find that'll hold lots with less zippers. Maybe 1 or 2 pockets will have a zipper, but no zippers are better. Now we'll dig in here. So first of all, we've got that bad boy. It's my brain spike. I always use this now for all my fish. Just feel a bit, more humane when you use that. Obviously, brain spikes the fish straight to the brain, which stops anything releasing into the meat if you're going to eat them. It's really, really good for that sort of purpose. Keeps the meat nice. My knife. Now, I've tested a lot of different knives out on the stones, and I do find the diving knives for divers are the best knives so far, especially cutting up kanji and anything like that. These things are super solid. If you need to cut a fish, you can't break the blades. They're just the best all-around fishing knife for off the rocks. Come with a case, so you're not ever gonna cut yourself if it's in your bag. That was definitely a big game changer for my rock fishing. Good set of pliers. Got plastics. They're Berkeley hollow bellies, so I really like those. They work well. I do like the Z-Mans. Bag of Hulk prawns, always. In there's all my jig heads. Now they're all 6/0 3/4 ounce, probably my most used weight for where I fish. Everyone has different opinions on that because they fish different bodies of water. So that's always going to be up to the area you fish. This is my tackle box. So in here I've got a range of different lures, from Hulk prawns to Z-Mans, Z-Man 6-inch. I got a few vibes. I got a couple of little hard bodies that I chase Taylor, the Rock Drift Shimano, and Jewies have hit those as well. I got some 10-0 hooks for live baiting. And underneath I've got an array of hard bodies. A croaker lure. I got given this guy from a friend that a guy makes down in Yamba Way. Rapala, HM lures. They've all caught fish. This one I haven't used yet. Missed a big mackerel on that. Alright, also I have got some 60-pound Black Magic leader, but for Jewies I always use the 30-pound. It's just supple trace. Knots tie really good with supple trace. They never seem like they're going to pull out. I've caught all my fish on this leader. Fluorocarbon hasn't been an issue there, but I just really like that. It's 20 bucks a roll, 100 meters, 60 and 30 pound. Works for everything. Got some wire trace rigs and a float. That's for mackerel season when I'm using liveys. head torch. That's just one of those little Energizer head torches. Super light, compact. Cost me, I think, $35 or $40, and it's been an absolute ripper. I use that for everything, night fishing and rock fishing. Mainly just to get down the tracks rock fishing, but a couple of packets of random kind of dragon maggot style lures. Haven't caught anything on them yet. I haven't really tested them, but I think they'll work. And then I've got this little zip bag here, and it's just full of lures again. Mainly in here there's one hard body and a pair of lip grips, actually. Pair of lip grips and slugs. I don't know if you can see inside there, but that's about 5 different metal slugs for tailor and pelagics, and getting live baits. It's tailor for live baits, chasing mackerel in the summer. But that's basically my whole kit now, all done. Can't get that back in. And one last thing I got is my brag mat, or ruler, whatever you want to call it. You know, you can brag about it, or mainly just to measure up any fish I'm going to keep. Especially with jewfish in New South Wales, it's 1/70, so you definitely got to have a ruler on you all the time, because you will get absolutely nailed if you're caught with an undersized jewfish, as they are a threatened species at times. Alright, I hope that was enough detail for you guys to get the gist of everything that I use while I'm chasing jew or anything off the stones. That's everything I use. I take every time I go. There's nothing there I don't take. If you needed anything else, or if you guys have got any better ideas, I don't use a gaff. I tend to get myself into spots where I know I can land fish without a gaff, basically so I can release fish as well, and I'll have rock pools close, or in a 10-meter distance, sometimes 20, but to keep them alive and then let them back go. Yeah, if there's anything else that you think that I've missed, please comment or let me know, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, and basically stay safe during COVID, and the stay safe part from my behalf is looking after yourselves mentally, keeping in check, doing some exercise, getting out, breathing some air. If you're inland and you can't make it to the coast, and obviously some of us are fortunate enough to live close to the river, any river that you can get to, I'd be going out and catching carp if I had to, just to get some fresh air. We have 3 kids, and my partner, she sometimes gets home because I do care work, and she's still got the 3 kids at home during lockdown, and it gets tough on both of us mentally, but she does an incredible job looking after them at home with no school. Yeah, but always check in on your mates. Make sure everything's sweet. Mental illness is something that can hide and then just keep coming out, and then by the time you've actually realised that it's affecting them that bad, it can be too late. So check in, call, message, do whatever you can. Look after yourselves. See you next time. Peace.